him sort of thing, and then nobody's really looking at our own paperwork to say that we're paying him that. You know? So it's very interesting, mate. But I just, as you say, if you're not following the Celtic Trust, and I know that, listen, we've had this conversation months ago, I know everybody probably is who's listening to the show, but it's imperative that we get behind that and we give them the platform and the voice and they get in, because obviously this thing here, somebody quite rightly said, they might drag out, so the questions we want answered don't get answered, but it's up to us to be the immovable force that the Celtic Trust can push to Celtic have to reply. You know, it's about the fans' issues that they're protecting and providing information and comfort for a section of our support that's been sort of overly policed and victimised.
What date is it in November? Is it the end of November?
What's that for?
For the AGM at Celtic.
Tommy, for some reason the 16th comes into mind. So maybe somebody in the chat room might come up and tell you a different date and hopefully correct it.
And can anybody help get me in there? If anybody can help get me in there, if anybody can give your proxy vote to Glasgow Radio Online, is it any way I'm going to find out how to do a proxy vote? If anybody wants me to go there for the crackpot vote, the crackpot block vote, I've got my auntie, I'm going to get my auntie's crackpot block vote, and anybody can join it.
You just need, if you can't get, I know you'll need if somebody hooks up to the Spy-Fi in there, and you've hooked up to it, and they can do a Skype call to you, and you can do a show on Spreaker sitting outside it.
No, I was going to do better than that. I'm going to get in there, I'm going to borrow my wee lassie's iPhone 5, I'm going to get the Spreaker on there, and then I've got the 3G, so I don't need their Wi-Fi. If their Wi-Fi works fine, if I can get the 3G in there, and then we'll just broadcast it live, and then I'm going to go and ask them a question or two.
No, do you know what
right to the front. I'll just walk up there and get my mic on there, I
was going to, don't get me wrong, I maybe come this February, I've been on Twitter 2 years, and I joined it just because, what was happening at Ibrox at the time, and it was off on the boots, and Bangor had signed for Celtic, and they needed a bit of protection. And I look what's happening now. The two things I joined Twitter to see what was happening about have gone now. Bangor's in Sweden, obviously. What's happening at Ibrox is happening at Ibrox, but you just see yourself now every day in a crusade to just RT stuff, and there's some great stuff. They made the whole food bank with the girl, she can't.
Hold on. Yeah, a crusade? There's no better terminology you could use here? We don't do crusades here. We don't do fucking crusades, Barrett. Think you're another nod? Quite another word.
Sorry, my Muslim brother. We'll say campaign. Campaign's a wee bit better, isn't it?
Oh, still got the George Bush overtones. Fucking campaign.
As long as I don't say Eastern Front in front of it. But there's the projects, shall we say, projects, is that better thing?
A project for the Provo, the project for the Provo, with Provo Judean Front.
Right, okay.
The project for the Provo Judean Front.
And the Mobile Gura Liberation Front still going strong, don't you forget about it. But no, the Tara was saying and the other people in the organisation were just...
What do you mean still going strong? I thought you abandoned it a few months ago. You can't say it's still going strong when you fucking closed it down months ago. No,
that was a Mobile Gura CSC. The Liberation Front's a different entity.
Has he been liberated? How can he be liberated for fucking Ellsborg? We want him fucking staying over there. We don't want him liberated.
He's scurrying about Sweden covered with blondes.
Anyway, sorry, we digress. Crack on.
No, the same as obviously the Mary Hill Food Bank now what's going on, and listen, and the unfortunate thing is it's just primarily the Mary Hill one. You boy Kevin who listens into the show, he put out a tweet yesterday saying the Govan Hill one there was people queuing up going down the street. So I know they're all over the UK, etc. It's just the Mary Hill ones. Maybe it's going to be the catalyst for something for Celtic support to, I'm going to say, God willing, it'd be fantastic if we could do every week at a home game at Celtic Park.
There's a lot of poverty in the East End. I mean, there's a lot of poverty, and then the other thing, right? There's one thing doing this, right? But how about people? I mean, there's one thing doing this, but see to actually go around and chap doors of old people, right? And just have a sandwich to give them, and just identify there's a wee old person there to fucking keep looking on them, and once a week going round and just offering them a wee flask and say, listen, we'll come back next week and we'll collect this, have a wee hot drink on us, a sandwich, and then you identify, and then through the fucking winter, I mean, you go round and you make sure all the wee fucking old people, because one of the things that kills a lot of people is the old people, and that could be a way. I mean, you're talking about food and young people or whatever, but you think your pensioners who are sitting there and they're fucking either freezing to death or starving to death, and just be going and chatting their door. I mean, I used to do door-to-door sales, right, and see, and I get labelled, right. I get labelled as a pensioner fucking salesman, right. They used to give me pensioner stuff because the way I would go in and just sit there and talk and just, I would love just, I think it was because I was brought up with my granny and granda, and they were the old generation, so I just loved talking to old people about this and that, and then finally I would say, well, look, I've got something here, it was a phone, but you would see a lot of people, and when I would get in there and talk, and I would realise that I would be the only person that would meet them that day, right, and God love them, and sometimes I've been there for like 2 and 3 hours, and they're telling me all their history, and I'm talking about my family, my ways, and then and a lot of the time the company was with NTL, they were giving a discount to pensioners, so you could get it in for free, you would get a cheaper line rental than BT, and you get some extra channels of shite for your telly. You can't fucking lose. And I would sell that to them on that basis, and it would take me hours, and then what I would do, I would find out what their fucking, anyway, I would sell them, but I would get known as that, as the pensioner salesman, because I would go in and just, it was a brilliant product, and I just had to take time to explain it to them. But as I say, the main point I'm saying this is because, don't let you in, the main point I'm saying this is, if people were to go round, because if people have got a choice to heat or to eat, then if that can be identified, I mean, there might be home helps going about, but there's a lot of people that fall through that nest, because see, unless you're ill, or see, unless you come across a doctor and they refer you to the social worker, the home help, if you're perfectly able, these people fall through the nets because they don't fall part of the social work system, and nobody checks them out, and they could be starving to death, and it'd be good to get a wee team to go around and check these poor people out.
I think it's going to be apparent that you look at, obviously, we were early in this chat with me, I grew up that close, probably a bit like yourself, but I grew up with,
hold on, Parrot. Ernie's an old boy. If Ernie needs some soup and catered for, just let us know. I'll jump on a bus and my bike, and I'll get her there for Ernie some soup. If Ernie's on the soup, or whatever he wants, I'll jump there and help the old boy out. He was kicking about the boardwalk, wasn't he, the old boy?
My old man, Dad, God rest her soul, we had a wee neighbour down the stair, old Mrs. Weir, God rest her soul, she's away now, and basically every Sunday, my man and Dad would send down a Sunday dinner there. You know, and that was a wee thing, so she didn't have to cook and all that, and her daughter Isabel, I believe Isabel's no longer with, God rest her, but Isabel moved to Canada, and she was a bank manager, and she flew every 2 years, and she would have like a suitcase full of vodka and whiskey for my folks, and I'm just so grateful that somebody was looking after, but just keeping a wee eye on. And her ma, but the community spirit that you had up the closes, you know, it's great everybody's get back from close and all that, but I mean, the ethos of what we had up a close, I mean, a wee close was like a wee village, you know, everybody knew each other's business, good and bad, and I've sort of lost that now, mate. But no, I mean, it's...
Here, do you know, Parrot, sorry to interject, and
you're no, we should probably get me on you, you're outrageous, carry on.
We can't have you talking on and on and on, and you need a bit of interjection here for a crackpot.
Jim Delahunt gives me a mere airtime, carry on.
Okay, you'll be fucking... I'll just cut you off for mentioning that name. You mention a name or anything, that's your yellow card. Any more fucking slips like that, saying names like that in this show, you'll be instantly red carded. Right, what were you saying? Because you put me off now, you bass.
He's lying in his bed listening to his wee Tiger Tin onesie on. No, all I was saying is hopefully it'll
Oh, fucking hell, here. That's a double yellow. You're off. You're getting fucking striked out here. Don't ever mention any other presenter. If you mention a presenter on that station again, then that's you. You're on a fucking lifetime ban.
All I was going to say is it'll hopefully there'll be a catalyst for the fact that it's going to raise the awareness of people working in our stadium, what they need, and what's going on with the food banks and stuff, and it's going to prove privy to the fact that we've got people who are all millionaires sitting in my boardroom dictating that people aren't allowed to earn the living wage because, you know what I mean, tell you what, sell for players and pay people will get by.
Here, how about this? Get dressed up, right, Parrot? I'll get dressed up for a promotion video, right? You've got the camera there, you've got the iPhone, right? I get dressed up in a Celtic onesie and a Neil Lennon mask. I go in, right, with a food basket.
I've got a Billy boy who'll be listening in. He's working in. I've got Billy's onesie that'll fit you, so you've got the onesie lined up.
Right, so we've got the onesie, right? What I'll do, right, I'll go in, you hold the camera, we'll go in with a food basket with tins of soup and beans, right? Right? And we'll go in and we'll say, we're Celtic fans and we want to show solidarity. Since you're not getting a fair wage, here's our wee food bank from Celtic fans, from Glasgow Radio Online. We support you. You'll never walk alone. We'll get that out there. We'll shame Pedro Loba. We'll stand outside the grates, and then we'll go in there and we'll say, since he's only getting a fair wage, here you go. We'll give him some chocolate. We'll give him hangway. We'll send him a love. We'll put it out there. We'll say support your local Fenian food bank. Fuck the PLC. Fenian food banks are us. We'll get a fucking stall out in Kerrydale Street. We'll get a stall out in Kerrydale Street. We'll have a big fucking urn, and we'll get calls out. We'll phone fucking all the places. There's tea, coffee, and everything. I've got a cafe there as well.
I think we should take, although it's very easy on the ear, I think we should take the word Fenian out and just call it the Brother Walfred Food Bank, or the Brother Walfred Bistro, because we don't know anybody's denomination or creed who's working at the stadium. So make it a Brother Walfred Bistro. Everybody's welcome. But I tell you what, mate, it's
Brother Walfred Bistro.
They must be named. They must be shamed, and they must be taken to task. If he reckons that if he can justify earning just under £1 million a year for what he does, great. I'll make sure he earns every penny through organisations like the Celtic Trust, you and Awanzi and I know and mask outside the ground. But you know, if you think I'm going to sit in that stadium with fans being victimised below me, fans being displaced to the left of me, people working in the stadium probably having to go to a food bank to get a meal after working in the ground.
The Kano Foundation having to raise money between the fans to get Celtic fans in there. They can't even give them a programme.
But the Kano's already, you know, fair play. They get championed and probably people say, oh, him again. But the Kano battered in there right away when that lassie was in the radio last week saying that you'll get some of the wins for the Maryhill, the Greater Maryhill area, who come under the food bank places at the Christmas party. And that's what it's all about. And all I'm seeing is fantastic gestures for our own support and other fans, you know, Thistle fans. There's even the Maryhill food bank's been approached by the Maryhill Orange Lodge, who have chucked in, you know, and I know they're not everybody's cup of tea for whatever they are, but for the love of God, if they're putting a couple of tins in, you know what I mean?
Yeah, hold on, you're crackling up like a mad crackle. Stay there, I'll phone Nick. He's crackling up. Everybody hearing the sounds, every sound's been quite good, isn't it? I think so anyway, it's been alright my end. Who have we got here? Hold on. You there, bro? Hey, Tommy, you know that people who have never voted are going to vote for not SNP for independence. Peter Lawwell have got it. Tony Cassidy, thanks. Davy Jones. Hold on, I was just going to look at some of the messages here. Tide has turned, Lawwell should feel so bad. Jamsey, you still up, brother? Food bank. You're right, bro. Brother Walford's Bistro. We should go in there. We'll go in there, we'll shame them. We'll go and give them donations. We'll say we're giving